Sports Entertained is recorded live at twitch.tv/baldyandthebeast. Come check us out every Tuesday and Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and watch the matches right along with us.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Bront.
I'm Willem.
And welcome back to Baldy. We are Baldy and the Beast. Excuse me. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Sports Entertained. Willem.
Yeah.
What are we doing today?
Today we are watching. Oh my god, I forgot the fucking name. Today we're watching Malenko versus we're watching Malenko versus Ultimo Dragon from Starrcade 1996.
Yes. So I'm the research guy. There's really not a whole lot going on with this match. Just to fast forward a little bit.
Yeah.
To get back in reigns, this did happen on December the 29th of 1996 at the Nashville Municipal Auditorium in Nashville, Tennessee, in front of 9,030 people.
Yeah.
Which, for their biggest show of the year, seems a little low.
Well, okay, so this was 96. So it was, let's see, December 29, 1996. So it was, God, my body didn't want to get that fucking word out of my mouth. It's 5 months. So it's post NWO starting, but I feel like they didn't really start up and like move into that type of stuff until probably 97 sometime. Because that's around the time that, like, 97's really the start of, like, the Attitude Era in wrestling in general.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is, like, the end of pre-Attitude Era wrestling, and then, like, right at the start of 97, that's when shit really started getting going.
I still feel like with this card, I could have sold more tickets.
Yeah.
Maybe not me, but, like, somebody that does this thing. Bookers could have probably sold more than 9,000 tickets, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah. The main event was, by all means, like, if you look at name value, a dream match because it's Hogan versus Piper, but it's in 96, so there's not really a lot going on there.
What's that meme? It's the girl where it's like Hogan Piper in 96, Hogan Piper 86. But nonetheless, this match that we're watching today is to unify the J Crown Championship, which from New Japan, and the WCW Cruiserweight title. So both men are coming in champions. Technically, like I said before, there's really not a lot of information. But this match is regarded as a banger. And looking at the two men in it, I'm going to go ahead and say not surprising.
Yeah.
God, both these guys can work.
You know, I'm gonna go out on a ledge, and just kind of show how much of like not a hardcore mark I am. I don't think I've ever seen a Dean Malenko or Ultimo Dragon match.
Oh, you've never seen a Malenko match? I've seen some Malenko matches.
No, it's not like I'm aware of the guy's work and I know how well that he works. I've just never gone out of my way to watch a match. Also, I need to point out that on WWE Network's tags for this, it's not Ultimo Dragon, it's Ultimate Dragon.
Yeah.
Good job.
I wonder if he ever was in the dub and that was their name for him.
He was in the dub and he was Ultimo Dragon.
Was he Ultimo Dragon?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I could see Vince being like, Ultimo Dragon is lame, you're Ultimate Dragon. That's where it's at. That's the good shit.
No, the reason that I know he was in the dub is because he was in one of the the very early PS2 WWF games, and he was there, and he had the Ricky Steamboat entrance theme. That's the only thing that I remember about him.
Okay. Did he have that in real life? Do you know?
I have no idea. He might. Well, we wouldn't know here because it was the WWE Steamboat entrance theme. It was very different than what it was in WCW.
Yeah. But nonetheless, let's get into that card.
Yes.
The opener is our match. Have we ever done an opener before? This might be a channel first.
I don't think so. We usually don't do the curtain jerker.
No, usually they're not this goddamn good.
Yeah, I know, right?
But next up in the match was Akira Hokuta versus Medusa. I'm not familiar with Hokuta's work at all. Like, I read her name.
I need to correct myself. I think we may have done one opener before, and I think that was Brett Owen at Mania 10. I think that was the opener on that
Yep,
card.
you are right. That was the curtain jerker.
Yep.
You're right.
Anyway, continue.
I'm wrong. I'm not familiar with Akira Hokuto at all, but I do know Medusa was probably the best women's wrestler in the States at the time. So that was probably better than any other women's match you were going to see.
Yep.
Then next up we have Liger Mysterio. Yeah, especially yeah. Mm-hmm. Next up we have Liger versus Mysterio. Little precursor of what you might see on the channel later because that just sounds fucking awesome.
Yep.
Jeff Jarrett, and it just says a no disqualification match. So I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to check. It is Chris Benoit. What a shock.
I'm not super surprised with that, but there was one card that we did before that was a WCW card where they did like the Benoit treatment, but Benoit wasn't in the match.
Okay. What card was that?
It might have been Starrcade. No, Bash at the Beach when we did Birth of the NWO.
Yeah, I think I remember what card you were talking about.
No. It was Halloween Havoc. Because I remember it was Halloween Havoc because I remember one of the people in the match was the Shockmaster.
Okay. Don't remember what you're talking about, but I'll agree. Okay. Yes, did happen.
Continue.
Next up, we have the Outsiders versus the Face of Fear. I will bet my life savings who went over on that match. DDP versus Eddie Guerrero for the U.S. title, which was next, which that's got to be good.
That sounds like it could have been real good.
Yeah. The Giant, also known as The Big Show, versus Lex Luger, and Hogan versus Piper. The less said about that match, probably the better.
Yeah, both of those matches were probably like huge on paper, but fucking thumbs down, big old thumbs down, stinkers.
Much rather watch Big Show Lex Luger, the Giant Lex Luger, because at least in '96 the Giant could move. He was throwing drop kicks and doing top rope shit.
That's true.
I'd much rather watch that match.
Yeah,
that's me. Are you ready to get into the meat and potatoes?
Yeah, let's go ahead and jump right into this match. Like we said at the beginning, this is the curtain jerker, the first match on the card. So if you want to go and get on there, it's going to be starting, like, they had no preamble on this one. They did, like, maybe a short video package, and this match came out right out of the gates. Yep. If you hit the thing on the network, the match is going to be starting at 2 minutes and 49 seconds. Let me turn down my audio. I'm going to test real quick.
You are a wee loud. I was going to wait until we got into the thing to tell you, though. Okay. Yeah, I just noticed.
I'm not super loud. Okay, yeah, I am a little loud on the old microphone, or on the old readings. So let me
while you're doing that, I will stall for time and give the first ever 5-second pose countdown thing.
Okay.
5, 4. How close are you?
I'm good. We're good.
3, 2, 1. Click.
That was good shit. Like that match, like, it had its time in the middle. Okay, I'm gonna pause this so I can chat about this a little bit. So, like, I was talking in the middle of the match that, like, you know, we were just kind of chatting a bit in the middle about stuff that was going on, and we weren't really calling a lot of the match stuff. But that was one of those matches that you could, like, you put it on, it's great at the beginning, you see some spots go on, and then it slows down in the middle and gives you some time to breathe. Like some other matches could give you some time to breathe. And then it really picks up, and, like, it's spot after spot, and it goes into the finish. That's the go home for the match. Like, you don't have to be edge of your seat action for 18 minutes, because 18 minutes is a long time to sit and watch any one thing.
Yep.
And that was just a good, especially for the match on this card, that was a good, solid opening match. Happy with it.
In happy news, my stream cut out immediately after the match ended.
Good.
And now it will not let me do anything.
Well,
so at least we got the match done. Thank God.
Also, I loved that finishing sequence there because it was just they kept going for they both kept going for the dragon suplex, and then they would like somebody would slip out and they'd be real slippery about it, and they would like escape and try and go for the suplex again, and then they'd try and get into a pin, and then they'd like just keep moving into move after move, and then it wound up finishing with Ultimo Dragon catching Dean off guard by not going for the dragon suplex again, going for the straight jacket suplex, and getting the pin on that one. And visibly, you just see Dean distraught with himself. He's like, "Man, I fucking missed it right at the end. I screwed up."
Yep, and it gives him a good like reason to come back and challenge again.
Yep.
Because booking like that's fantastic. Where it's the guy lost and he lost clean, but it wasn't like definitive.
Right.
Could have gone either way. Still, I love when they do that.
Right. He lost clean, but the match wasn't over. Like the job wasn't done. It was just a victory was had, but the match is not over.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully that rivalry wasn't over, and we're not just talking out of our ass.
Well, I mean, it was 96 WCW, so the rivalry was probably over.
Mm-hmm.
Or it concluded on an episode of Nitro like 2 weeks later. Who knows? Either way, it's not a thing that we will very easily find on the network.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So let's do ratings. How did you feel that was? I think that I want to go first. I was kind of acting like I was going to shoot to you, but then I was like, no, let's shoot to me.
Okay.
I'm thinking 4.25.
4.25. Okay.
That the work was fantastic. I mean, they were doing a lot of really, really good athletic moves. They were a lot of stuff that probably at the time blew some people's brains.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like that, the two Asai moonsault spots. Those were definitely some stuff that you just did not see at this time.
Yeah, I mean, if that match happened today, it'd probably be closer to 3.5 stars.
Yeah,
I am giving it a little bit of a buff because like they were I don't know if I want to say pioneering, but they were definitely closer to the cutting edge of what they were doing. So really, really good.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna agree with you on that one. I'm gonna give it 4.25. It was a good match. They had a lot of really good work in the middle of it. They had like I said, they had a really good spot where they let you breathe, so you could really get a chance to appreciate what's going on in the match. They had the storytelling segment where Dean was just working the leg, and then he finally wound up getting him into the cloverleaf, but he didn't wind up tapping. The only way that it would have been a better finish for me, at least, is if this wound up being the conclusion to the story. If Dean was working the leg and he wound up winning with the cloverleaf. That's the only way that this could have been better for me, is if that was the conclusion of this. But it was the J Crown was on the line, which I'm pretty sure the J Crown was all of Ultimo Dragon's belts. I think.
Oh, was it?
I think the J Crown was just called, that's what all of his belts together were called.
Okay.
So I don't see why they would put all of those on Dean Malenko.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So if it was for one of the titles or a non-title match, I could have seen Dean going over at this match. But given who it is and what it was all for, it kind of had to end this way, especially for the opener for the card.
And it makes sense too, because if you think about it, if he had all those belts, I'm assuming they were primarily Japanese belts.
Yeah.
Probably a huge star in Japan.
Yep.
NWO Japan, if hasn't already been started, was probably at least in the pipeline.
Yeah.
It was probably at least being talked about at this point. So getting Japanese eyes on the WCW product, which probably wasn't that hard with guys like Liger and Ultimo Dragon and God else. Who else they have? They had the lady that was wrestling under Blaze, whose name I'm blanking on.
Akira Hokuto.
That's just this card. So I feel like they were trying to drum up that interest, and it probably worked.
Well, I feel like this was the time where so in Japanese wrestling, New Japan wasn't always king shit.
Yes.
In the 90s, All Japan was the top tier, because All Japan is where they had people like Misawa, where they had Kenta Kobashi, where they had Taue, where they had the big, I can't remember the name of them, but it's like something, the three heavenly somethings or the four heavenly somethings. I can't remember what the actual name is, but there were four guys in all Japan that were like the kings and the like the standard for Japanese wrestling at the time. So having these smaller guys come in and do like a showcase for New Japan's juniors division, that's kind of what these were here for. And it did a really good job because even today the juniors are seen as just like the top tier of that style of wrestling.
I love the juniors division.
Yeah. Like
it's
good.
It's presented in a way where yes, they are all smaller than the heavyweights, but that's not looked at as a negative. It's just a different division, but it's on the same tier.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the way they present it because even when they move guys up, part of the difficulty of moving up, to bring out my favorite wrestler in the world, Slick Billy with the Big Willie, when he moved up, he lost a lot of matches against heavyweight guys for a while because he was used to wrestling smaller guys and he had to adapt his style to a harder hitting, stronger
style
group of people. Yeah. And I like how they do that. They're equal but different.
Yep. I really appreciate that because like there at no point, like when you're watching something like the Super J Cup or Best of the Super Juniors, you never think, oh, these are just kind of the mid-card guys. No, these are guys that are legitimately putting on great match of the year contender matches, and they just so happen to be in the mid-card.
Yep, and they can headline shows, and they do.
Yep. I'm going to surprise you with a segment that I just thought of just now because we came up with it when we were doing Mudahase. Who I feel like we could make this into a regular segment on, especially on these matches that we watch that are like older style. But we talked a lot about how this match could very easily translate today. Who are two guys today that could remake this match and still have it be as entertaining?
One of these is going to be easier than the other to do. Who does Zack Sabre Jr. for Dean Malenko. And who could take Ultimo Dragon's place? Fuck it, I'm gonna be biased. Slick Billy with the Big Willie. There's probably a lot of guys that could take. Trent Beretta could probably take Ultimo Dragon's spot and have a banger with Zack Sabre Jr.
Yep.
Who do you got?
I'm going to agree with you on Zack Sabre Jr., but my Ultimo Dragon replacement, Aleister Black.
Ooh, I want in on your match. I want to watch that. That's also very good.
Zack Sabre Jr. versus Aleister Black. That's some good shit right there.
Yep. Maybe not. How about Zack Sabre Jr. versus Tommy End?
Okay, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Tommy End. I'm good on... Yeah, let's do that.
I don't know if I'm going to watch the Aleister Black version because that means that it would be in the dub, and that means that they would make Zack Sabre Jr. wrestle like not Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I feel like that's a fun segment that we could do for a match like this because it's just there are a lot of these matches that we go back and we look if you look back on older wrestling, a lot of it doesn't translate very well. Like a lot of matches are really slow. A lot of the
Hogan Andre,
that's very slow, very very slow. It's absolutely influential to the history of wrestling because it was one of, if not the biggest match at the time. It is an awful worked match.
Yeah.
There's no there's no wording it a different way. It's an awfully worked match. And there are other matches like that too, like anything with Ultimate Warrior, or like any mid card match that was in like the 80s to like mid to late 90s. They were all slow plodding matches, and none of them translate today. But there are some speckled in there, some gems that are salt and peppered their way throughout history that could translate to today. Like this match did. Eddie Ray from the first match that we ever did, that would translate to today. Flair Steamboat, Savage Steamboat. Really, most Steamboat matches would translate to today. But those are just some examples. But there are a ton that could translate to today. And I feel like it would be fun to kind of dream remake a lot of these matches with modern day wrestlers that could maybe not easily take the spots of the guys from the past, but like who have a similar enough style that we could do something like that.
Yeah, that I do like the idea. That's pretty good. But I was gonna say the reason in the '90s, late '80s, early '90s, it wasn't about being a good worker back then. It was about being a big beefy boy.
Yeah, big beefy men slapping meat.
Yep. You can tell what Vince liked.
Yep.
Till if I'm telling you, if there was ever like a push to get steroids legalized again, Vince is going to be at least partially funding it.
God.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Because he loves him some big beefy boys.
Yep.
Gotta have that beef.
Gotta have that beef.
Well, did you have anything else to say about this here match?
About this match, no. But I'll go out and just say it. So I got my flags in. So, I haven't put them up yet, but for anybody watching at home, I'm sure like this backdrop here, this thing that I've got going on, like that I've had since fucking day one, it's not very entertaining, and there's not really a whole lot of shit. As you can tell over time, I've been trying to improve what I've got going on because it's just me in my computer room, and I had a really shitty light that didn't like have a cover on it. So I'm trying to improve my whole setup. So what I've done is I went on Pro Wrestling Tees and I bought 2 flags. I bought myself an AEW flag and a New Japan flag. And I'm going to be replacing this curtain that is just covering up my closet with them flags. Provided I can find a way to fucking do that, because I got them on Saturday and I couldn't get them up, and it made me very mad.
You're a mark. You don't have a WWE flag. You're an indie mark. Your opinions on wrestling don't matter.
Brett screwed Brett.
Brett did screw Brett. That's one of my unpopular wrestling opinions.
Yeah.
Brett kind of screwed. Listen, I'm sorry. I understand he didn't like Sean.
He should have done the job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he would have just done the job.
Yeah. I'll kind of give you that one. Brett really kind of did screw Brett.
Now that being said, if he had just done the job, wrestling history would be entirely different.
Oh, 1,000%.
So I'm so glad he didn't do the job.
Yeah.
But just do the. If you have to lose, that's wrestling. I'm sorry.
Well, I
mean,
Sean
was a dickhead, but
if Brett didn't do the job, then 90% of wrestling YouTubers wouldn't have a platform anymore, because just about everybody's talked about the Montreal Screwjob.
Yep.
I'm sure if you look at like YouTube wrestling channels from 3-4 years ago, about 100%, all of them had some sort of video that was covering the Montreal Screwjob.
Yeah.
And that is one thing that we will probably do in the future.
Yeah. Now to defend Brett a little bit, Sean never dropped any of his belts either.
Yeah.
Like he came up with all kinds of reasons not to drop his fucking belts. So it's not like what Brett was doing was entirely unprecedented in the WWF.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to give him too hard of a time, because like I said, Sean didn't either. Hogan, a lot of times, like that was just the way it was done back then.
Yeah, that was just the way it was done, and it just so happened to be there was a really weird circumstance for that needed to happen.
Yeah. But also they could have not screwed him and just let him let him
drop it on Raw.
Extend his contract by 1 day legally.
Yeah. Have
him sign paperwork to legally extend by 1 day and have him drop it on Raw, which is what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
That's not the point. We're getting way, way, way off topic.
We're talking too much 90s politics. This is shit that happened 23 fucking years ago. We don't need to talk about this anymore.
Welcome to YouTube wrestling channels.
Yeah, no.
But on Thursday, we will be back. We will be doing the third and final part of our current trilogy.
Yes.
Which I'm very excited about.
TLC 2.
Yup, the one where they got the same formula as TLC 1, but
Yep.
add Rhino and Spike Dudley and Lita.
Yep.
For even more popcorn bullshit.
Well, Lita was in TLC 1, but yeah, add Rhino and Spike Dudley to the mix, and it's just more but better.
Yes.
So I'm excited for that.
They should TLC 3 where they brought in a fourth person. No, I'm just kidding.
Talk about jumping the shark.
Yeah. They were real close to jumping the shark, adding a third person each.
They were real close.
They didn't do it, though. Yeah, they didn't do it, but it was close.
Yep.
But do you have anything else that you would like to say?
Nope. I think I said my piece. Do you want to just head into the outro?
Yep, go ahead and do your spiel.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for coming out and watching. If you haven't already, check us out wherever we're at in the description below. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook. Check us out. If you haven't already, throw us a follow over here at twitch.tv/BaldyandTheBeast. If you want to, check out our audio-only podcast at Anchor or Spotify or wherever you have your audio podcasts. All that stuff is in the description down below. Throw us a like on Facebook and follow on Twitter, wherever you want to do that at. We will be back this Thursday watching TLC 2 at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, everybody have a great day. We will see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.